So in addition to my corporate experience, I've now been also teaching on the side as an adjunct for 14 years. I can't believe it's been 14 years. And in addition to all the courses that I sometimes do, principles of marketing, whether it's been at the grad or undergrad level, I've literally done approximately close to 200 times now. And out of all of these experiences I've had with that particular course, geographic segmentation seems to be one of the most difficult for students to grasp. I think partly it's because that geographic segmentation seems easy, quote, and it's not as easy as it seems. I'm not here to say that it's rocket science. Nothing is rocket science unless it's rocket science. At the same time, geographic segmentation is not that simple. So fine, the definition of geographic segmentation is pretty straightforward. It's segmenting a market by geography. Yet at the same time, the whole key to geographic segmentation is that it has to be the geography, the place, so to speak, for the sake of the geography. Otherwise, it's not geographic segmentation. Now, granted, there can be more than one segmentation variable in an overall marketing initiative. Fine, I realize that. But here are a couple of things that straight off the bat are definitely geographic segmentation. Let's say that you are Macy's. And in Macy's, New York City, during the winter, you are most likely going to have winter coats. In Macy's in Miami Beach, Florida, you are most likely not going to be stocking winter coats during the winter months. Why? Because even in the middle of the winter in Miami Beach, it is most likely going to be, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, more or less. So you clearly are making a mistake if you are a buyer and you're going to put on the sales floor winter coats. Now, if you live in Miami and you want to go skiing, or you are going somewhere that, where it's going to be cold, for example, then fine, then go and buy a winter coat online and then go wherever you're going to go. But the Macy's at Miami Beach is not going to have winter coats. That would be a mistake. So that would be a geographic segmentation example, which would be valid. But it gets a little bit more complicated than that. Let's say you take Krispy Kreme. Now, for those of you who don't know Krispy Kreme is kind of sort of like a competitor to Dunkin' Donuts in a way. One of their core product categories, of course, if not the core product category, are donuts. But at the same time, it really is a little bit different. Now, Krispy Kreme is mainly located in the South. And a lot of marketing students might say, hey, you know what? So fine, it's located in the Southeast and it's not really located in the Northeast, so therefore it's geographic segmentation. Actually, no, it is not geographic segmentation. The reason why Krispy Kreme, and there are some Krispy Kremes here and there in the Northeast, but the reason why Krispy Kreme is not necessarily here in the Northeast, it has nothing to do with geography. It has more to do with demographics and psychographics, and I'll just sort of, kind of leave it at that. Also a very common mistake, and I also teach international marketing, international business classes. A real common mistake is when it comes to India, for example. So students will say, oh, fine, I get it. So in India, McDonald's is not going to have Big Macs because at McDonald's in India, there is a sizable portion of the overall market that doesn't necessarily eat beef, and therefore McDonald's does McVeggie. But so this is what McDonald's chooses in India, right? So this is clearly geographic segmentation. No, it is not geographic segmentation at all. It has nothing to do with geographic segmentation. The reason why people in India, for those who choose to not eat beef, is not in any way directly related to geographics. It has nothing to do with India for the sake of India. It has to do, again, mainly more with probably demographics, etc. So that would be demographic segmentation, not geographic segmentation. But there are, of course, a lot of examples where there are good reasons to do geographic segmentation, like the Macy's, like the Krispy Kreme. So let's say you are in a beach town during the middle of the summer, and there is a restaurant that is literally ocean block and has these wonderful, spectacular views of the ocean, but they don't necessarily have the best food in the town. let's say there's a much better, quote, restaurant, meaning much better food and maybe even a little bit better service, that's maybe 3 blocks away from the beach. The restaurant that is right directly close to the ocean and has, again, the ocean views is always packed during the summer 7 nights a week. That is also a cause for geographic segmentation. There's something about the geography, the location of that restaurant for the sake of the location being ocean view and beach block as opposed to the other restaurant. So let's say also just continue on with a beach town. Let's say you are a, quote, general store and you sell beach chairs and you also sell inflatable toys and inflatable mattresses, etc. And you are doing that because of the fact that it's summer season and you are in a beach town. Otherwise, you wouldn't necessarily sell those things. Is there something that is related to the geography? Sure. Same thing with a surf shop. Sure. There are definitely other segmentation variables at play, for example, psychographic segmentation. But since we're focusing right now on geographic segmentation, is there geographic segmentation going on there? Sure, there definitely is. And I think that's also valid. And one more of these, let's say you are opening or deciding to open a bagel shop in some area where bagels are relatively popular, but for whatever reason, there have been no bagel shops to date in that particular neighborhood. That would also be, at least in part, geographic segmentation. Why? Because when it comes to bagel stores, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with just simple demographics or even to an extent psychographics. A lot of different people choose to buy bagels, choose to eat bagels, and choose to get various deli sandwiches that bagel shops offer, etc., etc. And therefore, there is more going on than just simple geographic segmentation. Yet at the same time, you chose to open this bagel shop in a particular neighborhood where there wasn't any other bagel shops for whatever reason, and therefore is an element of geographic segmentation going on there? Absolutely, for sure. So now you know a little bit more about geographic segmentation and what it is and what it isn't. And hopefully you'll be a better marketer as a result. So send me your comments and questions, and each week you'll get a chance to win a copy of my book. And I'll answer your comments and questions during the QA video for that week.